real noisy spot here this morning. We've got a helicopter transporting concrete or something up and over this hill. But this is the Argo mine here in Idaho Springs, one of the biggest mines in the area. Today I thought I would bring the Mokwheel Obsidian out for some backroads exploring here in the Colorado foothills. Really good climbing bike. Nice power. Everything about it is great. We've got an air suspension on the rear, spring fork on the front. This is the step-through version. And really nice bike to ride on backroads adventures like this. Idaho Springs and Central City were two of the earliest gold towns here in Colorado. So yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride, and we'll see what we can find today. Not exactly sure how many thousand feet we climb on this road, but you can see it just winds up and up. We started out way in the valley down there. That's where the interstate highway runs through. So the road that we're following up here, this is officially called Virginia Gulch Road, but the locals and all that back in the 1800s nicknamed this road Oh My God Road, for it being just such a scary steep climb. Can you imagine bringing heavily loaded wagons up and down this little road when it was probably a third this width and just hanging to the sides of the cliffs here? Throughout this video, you're going to hear a rattle on this bike, and it's something that every one of these e-bikes has. And unfortunately, I apologize for the sound, but it's the sound that these side stands make when you hit a bump. And I wish there was some way around that, but I have to have a side stand on these bikes just so I can park them in my garage. And they're just so convenient that I put up with the noise. But if anybody can design one of these side stands that doesn't make that obnoxious noise, I would very much appreciate it. The Mokwheel Obsidian's climbing beautifully, doing a great job today. We just stopped at another one of the old mines here. Unfortunately, the ones that are too easy to get to, that aren't too far off the road, all get vandalized and spray painted and all of that stuff. So these aren't nearly as much fun to find or to look in as the more remote ones. But we'll get to some of those here shortly. We came over the top of this hill down this road, and now we're coming in towards the upper end of Russell Gulch here above Central City. So we're a little bit west of Central City. Still lots of old buildings here. That's the old schoolhouse up there on the hill that's been abandoned for quite a while. This block here is pretty typical of the architecture here in Central City back around the turn of the century. Really beautiful stuff. Just beautiful little places. They had a huge boom here back in the late 1800s, and this was known as the richest square mile on earth at that time. Pulled a lot of gold out of these hills. It has become a gambling town, so you can see, you know, huge casinos down the valley. Most of these little buildings are now private casinos, smaller non-corporate ones. But what it did was bring in a lot of money to this town. Once again, they had a second boom, and they were able to preserve a lot of the buildings that would have been fallen down otherwise. So probably a good thing for it. Let's take a look at this structure here. Not a whole lot of it left. Somebody knocked a hole through the wall here. But one of the old mine structures. Another mine. I don't know if I'm standing over the tunnel in. I would guess that I probably am, although it might be in this building here. But it's right down there. This one smells like there's been a fire here recently. This is pretty typical of the backcountry here near the mining towns, where you've got 1 road, 2 road, 3 road, 4, 5 basically converging right here, and there are mines at the ends of every one of those roads. So it's a lot of fun to get back into this area and just start riding and see what you've got. Like we can see some buildings over here, right behind the trees over here, some more old buildings. A really interesting area. But that's what's so fun about these fat tire e-bikes, is they allow you to get back and climb around the hills and explore all this stuff. There are some tough old guys that work these mines, man. This is a really harsh environment in the wintertime. There are all sorts of snow conditions. Some are easier to ride in than others. The very worst one to ride in is snow like this, which is super wet and melting. You get your tires into that and it's ridiculously slippery. So I've tried to stay out of the snow as much as I can, and when I do have to go through it, I'm trying to stay very balanced and not lean the bike in any direction at all. Couple of nice houses here. At one time this was a really beautiful area. We've got walls all along this entire road, and I'm sure that at one point there were houses all the way along here. That is part of Nevadaville, and we've just got mines everywhere all the way up the valley here. Pretty much everywhere you look are these stone terraces that had structures on them at one time. Just house foundations all over the place here. Right behind these houses, this is probably the mine that they worked right here. So this was luxury living compared to most miners. I think I'll cut down through the valley. We've got to go all the way down to the bottom, back up over this mountain, over the next one, and then we drop down into Idaho Springs again on the Oh My God road again. So that'll be a fun ride down. Several miles of just screaming downhill. back into Idaho Springs. We're actually the other side of. I headed up one of the side roads that heads towards Mount Evans, just to try to get away from the highway traffic down there. I couldn't even talk on the video because the noise is so bad. It's funny how those canyon walls hold the noise in. So the bike did awesome today. This motor peaks at 1300 watts. It's got both cadence and torque sensing, and that combination, boy, they've really got this dialed in. It is a really strong bike, so super fun. But thanks everyone, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.